So moved.
Motion to close by trustee Luciano,
Second.
seconded by trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
Thank you. So our public hearing is now closed. With that, we will move into the start of our village board meeting, which is for the June 11th, 2024. With that, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lana, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold,
Here.
trustees Amos.
Here.
Brockman.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Chapman, Luciano.
Here.
And Selfridge.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum to conduct this evening's business. Are there any citizens wishing to address the village board this evening? Seeing none, we will move into this evening's consent agenda. Item number 1 will be approval of the regular meeting minutes of May 28th, 2024. Approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes for May 28th, 2024. Approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes on June 4th, 2024. Item 4 is approval of accounts payable in the amount of $588,992.36. Item 5 is approval of a payment in the amount of $20,460 to Sikich for work completed on the 2024 audit. Item 6 is approval in the payment amount of $10,000 to Will County Center for Economic Development for our 2024 annual investment. And final item number 7 will be approval of the payment amount of $81,559.15 to D Construction for the Amondage Water Main Replacement Project. Are there any items a trustee has a question or needs any further information?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion Luciano, second Carroll. Roll call, please.
Carroll,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, this evening's consent agenda has been approved. We'll move right into our reports and communications for this evening. I don't have any proclamations that have been noted for us for this evening. Lana, is there anything that you would receive prior to the meeting? Thank you very much. With that, let's just move right on to this evening's order of business. Item number 1 will be designation of trustee Don Carroll to the YMCA's Facility Branch Director Interview Committee. For those of you that are aware, obviously the joint partnership with the YMCA, the village gets to place a member on the YMCA's committee for that interview process. It's the motion to approve trustee Carroll there.
I'll make a motion to designate trustee Don Carroll to the YMCA Facility Branch Director Interview Committee.
Motion Selfridge and
Second.
seconded trustee Luciano. Roll call, please.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
and Carroll.
Yes.
All right, item number 1's been approved. Item number 2 will be consideration for approval of an annual appropriations ordinance for the village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2024 and ending March 31st, 2025. This item is up for a second read. Finance Director Burkholder.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the second read of the appropriations ordinance for our fiscal year that began April 1st. This does represent the village's legal spending authority. The total proposed appropriation is $97,146,873. There have been no changes since the first read.
Any board members have any questions for Ms. Burkholder regarding the appropriations ordinance? This item is up for a second read, so therefore, if there's no further questions, we can pass the appropriations ordinance as read. We just need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion for the approval of an annual appropriations ordinance for the village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2024 and ending March 31st, 2025.
Second.
Motion trustee Selfridge, seconded trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
and Luciano.
Yes.
All right, business item number 3 will be consideration for approval of a resolution accepting a grant of municipal utility easement and temporary construction easement to the village of Shorewood for 25851 West Sile Road. And the PIN number is attached to the document. Public Works Director Noriega.
Thank you, Mayor.
16-inch water main extension for a future pumping station, from our future pumping station to our, the Walnut Trail, Walnut Water Tower. We are working with other property owners. We're looking for both permanent and temporary construction easement from 7 separate parcels. This parcel here is the Minooka School District's property. They have already approved the easement on their side back in May at their last school board meeting. So this is located along their west and north property lines. We are requesting a 15-foot permanent water main easement and a 35-foot temporary construction easement. Staff is recommending approval of the resolution accepting the plat of easement for the municipal utility easement and temporary construction easement for the property of 25851 West Sile Road. Any questions?
Anybody have any, trustee have any questions for, Public Works? We'll be seeing a few more of these as he works to acquire the, residual easements that are needed for that.
Just wondered, how much did the school purchase down there, as far as acreage, do you remember?
I don't know the size of their property.
30
Not offhand.
acres, I think.
Is that all it was? I thought it was more.
It might have been 40, but it wasn't like 100 or anything like that. I thought it was a little smaller than 40.
Yeah, I should have asked earlier. Just
We
came up.
can look into it and get it to you.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding these? If not, we'll take a motion to approve these.
Motion approved as read.
Motion trustee Amos,
Second.
second trustee Carroll, roll call please.
Amos,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
And Selfridge.
Yes.
Item 3 is approved. Item number 4, reconsideration for approval of a proposal for professional engineering services with Seco Consultants for the material testing services on the River's Edge Park Phase A project in the amount not to exceed $12,582. Back to Public Works.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So again, this is our River's Edge Park. This was already recently bid. This is for our Phase A. Construction is tentatively scheduled to begin at the end of the month. Construction, if you, just a reminder, includes the kayak launch, playground, partial of the trails, and our parking lot. Material testing will help ensure that the parking lot and the concrete work for the trail and the trail system are constructed following and meeting our minimum requirements. Staff is recommending approval of proposal for professional engineering services with Seco Consultants for material testing services for our Phase A River's Edge Park project in the amount not to exceed $12,582 even. Any questions?
I have one.
Pardon? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Was any of this material testing done before we bought the property?
Yes, we did do geotech.
That's
Soil
different
testing.
than this here?
This is for making sure that the asphalt's compacted, the air, concrete is, meets
Okay.
strength.
All right.
This is for the new concrete and asphalt you put in, or is there existing?
This is for any new concrete and new asphalt at our River's Edge Park project.
I just had a question. Doesn't the contractor guarantee that?
There is a guarantee, but how do we know that they met, the material testing will help us determine that they met like the 3,000 pounds per square inch on the concrete.
I thought that there'd be something that the contractor would be responsible for, but I guess this is.
This is the checks and balance component
Yeah.
of that.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Any other questions regarding the material testing? If not, motion.
Motion approved as read. Second.
Motion trustee Amos, second trustee Carroll, roll call please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
Item 4 is approved. Item number 5 will be consideration for approval of an ordinance to direct and authorize the disposal of surplus property by the Village of Shorewood. This item is also up for a first read. Back to Public Works. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you for allowing Public Works to purchase and replace our pieces of equipment. Both the crane truck and the forklift have just recently arrived. So as mentioned in our reports when purchasing, that these pieces of equipment were going to be declared surplus and disposed of following state statutes, in this case, an auction. So staff is recommending the village board approve the ordinance disposing of the surplus property and waive the second read. Any questions? Anybody have any questions about what we're about to get rid of? Try to put some money back in the general fund, see what we can recoup.
I'll make a motion for the approval of an ordinance directing and authorizing the disposal of surplus property by the Village of Shorewood and waive the second read.
Motion Selfridge,
Second.
second trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Carol,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, business item number 6 will be consideration for approval of the purchase in the amount of $39,258.75 to Shorewood Home and Auto for a 2024 John Deere Gator utility vehicle. One more time, back to Public Works.
Thank you again, Mayor. So we are requesting a purchase of a new John Deere Gator. It's a utility terrain vehicle with accessories to add to our fleet. This will supplement our existing John Deere Gator that's a 2006. This will be mainly used by our Parks Division, but will be shared with our Street Division for maintenance of our various right-of-ways. The streets will mainly use this for garbage litter issues, picking up along various roadways throughout the village, also help with hard-to-reach areas to address any of these weed concerns that we have. Will also be great for us for snow removal operations at all of our facilities, including Village Hall and PD. Parks will use this for garbage collection and also landscape maintenance at many of our parks. And this will assist with our many of our park events. The biggest savings for us is, weed applications at our now our 2 big parks. Rather than being at the mercy of our service provider, at the vendor that schedules and coordinates, many times we do have weather issues. If it rains or it's about to rain, trying to coordinate that, then the availability of him to reschedule with us, sometimes we do miss that window. Moving this application in-house will save us approximately $5,000 to $6,000 per application at each of our parks. Our fiscal year budget allows for $50,000 for this purchase. The quote that we received from Shorewood Home and Auto is just under $40,000, and it includes almost a 20% discount following the Sourcewell government pricing discounts that we received. The purchase also with the attachments is a plow, a spreader, the tank, and the spray attachments will be included as well. Staff is recommending the village board approve the purchase for a 2024 John Deere Gator from Shorewood Home and Auto in the amount of $39,258.75. Any questions?
You're getting that tank and sprayer that's attached to this Gator in the picture. What's this price?
Something similar. We didn't have the exact picture, but it is very similar to it. It might be fit in the bed of the truck itself, of the equipment.
Noriel, the plowing, this will augment or replace some of the plowing effort that we're doing in-house?
It will add as a
add.
piece of equipment for us.
Okay, clearer, safer sidewalks, entrances, things like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm glad to see, for one, it was a budgeted item, came in under budget, and being bought in town. So those are definitely a couple components that I'm glad to see. We're adding definitely a lot more events, something like this to help the staff moving garbage around, and some of the different activities and stuff too. Not to mention, the added applications of being able to get down the bike paths, weed treatments, snow applications from Village Hall, Police Department, some of those different capacities as well, so.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase in the amount of $39,258.75 to Shorewood Home and Auto for a 2024 John Deere Gator utility terrain vehicle.
Second.
Motion trustee Amos, second trustee Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
And Carol.
Yes.
All right, item 6 has been approved. Business item number 7 will be consideration of an ordinance granting a conditional use for an amusement establishment for We Rock the Spectrum. This item is up for a first read. Ms. Engel.
Thank you. James and Amy Allen are in the audience today. They have proposed to lease the space at 345 Verton Boulevard. This was most recently Salon Professional Academy. It's in the same center as Shorewood Fitness. What they'd like to do is a recreational entertainment facility for children. They're targeting children between 1 month old to 13 years old. The business is open to all children, but has special accommodations for kids with different abilities. Typically, they'll be open daily from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's an open play area, a multi-purpose party room, a retail area, therapy and calming room, arts and crafts area, and special areas for teens and for toddlers. They have designed this place. It's actually a franchise of a business that supplies their facilities with different types of sensory equipment. So they've got 10 different types of equipment: a crash pit, climbing structures, tunnel, a bolster swing, carpet swing, trampoline, zip line, hammock swing, zip box with slide, swivel rotators, climbing mountain, and rope bridge. Sounds very scary to me, but the children like it, and it really helps to keep them active and stimulated as well. Here's some pictures of the inside of some of the other similar businesses, other We Rock the Spectrums. So you can see there's a lot of fun equipment for kids of different ages. And they also have a party room, so the party room can accommodate up to 40 kids.
You didn't display it.
Oh, I didn't display it. Oh, that is unfortunate. I was smarter than the technology. All right, let's see how this works now. All right, I'm gonna go back. Okay. So here we go. So there's the unit, there's the floor plan, list of the equipment, and here are some pictures of what it'll look like inside. This is an example of a party room. So the party room can accommodate up to about 40 kids. If they've got it full and they've got a big group in there, they'll close to public, but if they've only got a small party going on, it will likely stay open. They've also got what they call the Rock Shop, and it's like a store for kids' toys and educational books and things like that, as well as a snack bar up front towards the entryway. And then they've got some other specialty areas. So I mentioned the teen area, the toddler area, and imagination station. There will be a little kitchenette off the multi-purpose room. They think most people will bring in food, but if they need to warm something up or put something in the fridge, there's that option. There'll be a quiet reading area and an arts and crafts area, and they also have a couple of things that are geared towards kids with special needs. There'll be a therapy room where they'll have a physical therapist or physical therapy assistant doing therapy with the kids, and also a calming room for kids who need to decompress and just take some time to themselves. The applicants are in the audience. Do you have any questions? This is up for a conditional use permit for a first street.
What was in the space prior to them leasing it?
So before this, it was part of the Salon Professional Academy, and before that, it was Armanetti's Liquors.
So is it set up for a kitchen? If they're gonna
You know,
cook in
it's
there?
really, it was the break room. So here, let me show you the inside of the space. You can kind of see it down in the bottom left corner. It's a wide open space, and then the area in back, there's like a storage room, there's a big room that was used as the conference room, and then there's a small area that's got a kitchen and a stove in it that would have been used by the staff of the Salon Professional Academy.
So it was there already?
It was there already, yeah.
So as far as cooking, they don't need a
No, they're not really gonna be cooking much. They, you know, if somebody comes in with a birthday cake or something they wanna put in the fridge, they'll be able to do that. They will sell snacks at the snack bar, but their goal is to do all packaged goods so that they don't need to, you know, worry about having a health department license and all that stuff. They're not really gonna be cooking for sale.
Thanks.
3,400 square foot space, I think it's a good use. Glad to see something good for youth in that realm. I think it's a good fit, so.
With that in mind, I'd like to make the motion to approve ordinance granting a conditional use for an amusement establishment for We Rock the Spectrum and waive the second read.
Second.
Motion trustee Amos, second trustee Carroll. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
and Luciano.
Yes.
All right, item 7 is approved. Business item number 8 will be consideration of a resolution approving a site plan to allow the construction of a Dollar Tree. Over to trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. They came before us at our last planning and zoning. Not a very lengthy discussion, but they like the location and comes here with a 7-0 vote from planning and zoning. Natalie, I'm sure you want to add a few more details.
figuring out the new mics. Okay, so Dollar Tree would like to go next to the Aldi store. They have proposed a 10,000 square foot store, so that'll take just a sliver of space, and there'll still be room for other users right next to it between the Dollar Tree and the Home Depot. So the unit will be directly attached to the Aldi store. It'll be a little bit shorter in length than the store, so they'll actually have their loading back behind the Aldi loading dock. So the Aldi loading dock's actually got a brick wall, which I'll show you in a minute, that will screen most of the back of the Aldis. And then the next business will connect to it. As part of the purchase, they're buying the 2 rows of parking spaces in front of the unit, which you can see delineated by the dash line in this area here. This is what the store will look like. They're basically, it's gonna be majority brick, and I did do a little bit of a mock-up so you can see where the colors are, but it'll be a majority brick, sort of a dark gray, a light gray, and then an accent color. And then over the doorway, it'll be an ephes treatment. They tried to match the look of the center. It is an upgrade from their typical prototype. The side elevation will be similar to the Aldi side elevation. It'll be a concrete block, and they're gonna paint it in a color to match the brick in the front. And in the rear, they're proposing to use a steel facade with an ephes treatment, similar to what was used at Anderson's Crossroads. About half of that will be actually screened from view because of the Aldi brick wall, so there won't be a lot of visibility. We asked them to focus on using more brick on the front. This is an example of what it looks like behind. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a wing wall back behind Aldi, and their access will be behind that. They did not provide this, but I tried to apply the colors from the color samples they gave us to show you what it would look like. So as you can see, the majority of the facade is brick, and only the area up above the doorway will be the ephes. And then they'll be accenting with the green, which is their corporate color. This is a landscape plan. It was actually approved in 2005, and everything was planted. It's part of this project. They're gonna go in and refresh it. Anything that needs to be replaced, they'll replace. Any of the mature landscaping that's doing well, they'll leave, but it'll all get a refresh as part of this. And that is what I've got. Their dumpster is gonna be located back behind their store. So it'll be screened with all these dumpster enclosure, and they'll have gates on it. We've checked the photometrics, and the photometrics continue to meet our standards.
Well, glad to see another unit getting occupied over there. I think that narrows it down to, what would be left? About 6 acres of ground left in there?
Approximately, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll work on getting someone to try to tie into that and keep building that out.
Yes.
I have a
Yes, sir.
question. What is the property that's behind where they're building? What is that? Because there's a school behind Aldi, and there's just open space.
There's a detention.
A detention
It's
pond.
just-
There's
it's
a
all
detention, yeah,
Okay.
there's a detention there, and that should be Park Shore Drive when Home Depot built originally.
Yeah.
That drops behind, there's a berm and some fencing and some landscaping
Yeah.
through there.
It is nicely screened from the residences.
That's why I was asking. I
But
didn't
yes,
know if
it's a
anything
dry
was-
bottom detention.
Okay.
But yes, you have that school right out there on Black Road, and then immediately to the south of that, and then on the backside of that road.
Okay, thank you.
Question, if approved, when do they plan to start construction?
Jason Huss is here representing the applicant. It's very soon.
Good evening, my name is James Huss.
Jason, sorry.
I'm with DVG Team, representing Elkan Associates, the developer of the property. They intend to break ground as fast as they can. We do, procedurally, we do need to get the plat approved so they have a property to purchase, but their intent is to move truly as fast as they can after that's approved.
Thinking this year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Probably July, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
as soon as they can buy the property, they'll be moving on.
So this is really the first time that Aldi has entertained selling part of the property. Sort of a little bit of the holdup with this property is that they've wanted to sell the entire parcel to a developer. So somehow, kudos to Dollar Tree, they convinced them to sell them just a sliver, which is nice, so they can get going, and then hopefully they'll be willing to sell portions to other smaller users as well.
Sounds good, unless anybody else has any other questions?
If, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve a resolution, a site plan to allow construction of a Dollar Tree.
Second.
Motion trustee Brockman, second trustee Amos, roll call please.
Amos,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman, Luciano,
Yes.
and Selfridge.
Yes.
All right, item number 8's been approved. Item number 9 will be a discussion of a concept plan for a senior housing by Clover Group. And back to Ms. Engel.
Thank you. Well, the area around Aldi is popping because this property is directly across Black Road from it. There's a 9-acre property. We commonly refer to it as the Verton Farm. It's zoned B3, and it's between Huntington Village, I believe, and the shopping center with the Dunkin' Donuts and Mad Hatchet, so sort of right in that area. And what's being proposed is a senior independent living building. They're proposing a structure that has 125 units with some common facilities for the residents. It's not assisted living or nursing care. There's no permanent staff. There's no nursing staff. There's no dining room. But they do have a property manager who will be on the property and a maintenance person who will be on the property business hours. And they have some other facilities. This is the aerial view of it. Basically, it's one large building, an elevator building, and it'll have it's 125 units. There's 156 parking spaces that surround it. About 125 of those are in regular stall parking spaces around the perimeter, and then they have about 40 parking spaces in garages along the rear. They typically don't need this much parking. They have provided it, but typically they see less than a 1 unit to 1 parking space ratio because a lot of their residents prefer not to drive. And then what they've done is they've proposed to have the pond on the, the southwest corner of the site, right along Black Road, and then they would leave the frontage along that Black Road zoned for B3 uses, and we think those are probably pretty good spots for quick serve restaurants. They'll have a combination of 1 and 2 bedroom units. This is just a typical unit. They've either got 1 or 2 bathrooms. They all have a kitchen area, a dining area, and a living room. Sometimes they're combined, sometimes they're separate. Every unit has its own balcony with patio doors leading to it. And sort of like we saw in the Hamptons, they've all got that like sort of storage closet outside where they can put lawn chairs and things like that. All the units have, full kitchen, and they also have in-room washer and dryers. Mr. Russell Kaplan is here from Clover. I'll turn it over to him so he can tell you a little bit more about the company and what they do.
Thank you very much. Feel free to, if you guys want to speed me along or ask questions along the way, please feel free to do so. We began in 1985. A gentleman by the name of Michael Joseph founded the company. We currently own and operate. We're long-term owner-operators. We developed them with the intent of having a portfolio of these, and we do have over 50 of them now, currently in 8 states, and more under construction. There we go. This is our focus. This is what we do. It's really for the most part all that we all that we do. They're not well. If you have $5,000 a month to spend in in retirement, there's places out there that are fantastic, right? They've got wait staff at every meal that's provided there at the facility. You'll have housekeeping services. It'll be like living on a cruise ship. If all you have is Social Security, the senior low income programs are fantastic for that. But there's a whole niche of people that aren't being serviced by the by the current stock. These are folks that they're pensioners, they're first responders, school teachers. And they need places to live as well. Right now, they would be competing for ground floor units and 3-story walk-ups, where all of our units are accessible. We don't do any tax credit, any HUD properties. All of our stuff it is market rate. Most of our residents come from within the community. When we focus on identifying whether or not there's demand in a community, we look at 3 to 5 mile demographics because that's in our experience where our residents come from. They do a number of things for the community. Because we don't have medical services, we don't have meals. They continue to go out into the community for food, for medical care, They're able to continue to go to their places of worship, stay near family and friends, what have you. In addition, what they do, what this does is takes people out of older housing stock and lets young families come in, lets renovation come in, and allows the community to continue to grow. We don't impact peak traffic. We're not going to be putting people out during rush hour. Typically between about 2 and 3 p.m. Is our busiest, and we'll have about 32 to 40 cars during that period. We pay a full school tax bill, but obviously we don't put anybody in the school district, so we're a net subsidizer of those. Our trash is normal, and we're fair housing compliant.
Real quick, why do you state between 2 and 3 is your peak?
It's just what we've observed.
Okay.
That's when they
There's
tend
no
to go.
rhyme or reason.
Nope, and it's actually funny. There was another property that we work on right across from a high school, and they say, "Oh my goodness, that's when the high school lets out. This is going to be a disaster." Well, our people will adjust. If that's when the area is busy, they'll find another time to go out. They're not married to a particular time. They're looking for what's easiest for them.
Just curious.
We have all the typical unit amenities that you would expect, focused on a senior clientele, including we have wider bathrooms, lower cabinets, higher countertops. We have stainless steel appliances, including washers and dryers in the units. Like Nellie mentioned, we have balconies. All of our mail is delivered to the lobby. We have mailboxes in the lobby, and each unit has its own individual mechanicals, HVAC units. One of the things that we do that's interesting is the rent check covers all of the utilities. So that's your electric, your water, sewer. It also includes your telecoms, so your cable, TV, and phone, and all that's included. We found that people like writing, one check a month with some certainty to cover all of those expenses.
One thing I should have mentioned was there's a pull cord also in the bathrooms and in the bedrooms for the residents if they need it.
So there's the floor plan. We do have a number, while we don't have the commercial kitchen and meal plan, we do have a number of community amenities, both soft and hard programming. We have a beauty salon, we have library, coffee bar, storage, we have a fitness center, we have trips and parties and clubs, and it's really, we try to keep a very high level of programming basically for socialization. We found that when people, join together in activities, it tends to make for a happier community. So here's some photos from some of our other communities. Some other stuff that we've done in the past. Okay. So does anybody have any questions?
First of all, to deflect back to Trustee Brockman, how was feedback to your planning and zoning group?
Thought it went real well. We didn't have a public hearing, but we had one person spoke from the crowd and was a little bit leery about whether they could fill it up or not. But I believe it's a great location. You got Aldi there, within walking distance. Now you're going to have Dollar Tree. You got a bank there. Mariano's across the street. Mad Hatchet if you need a drink or two. So I think it's a great location, and I think it's a great use for that particular area. But Scott, maybe you concur. I thought the conversation was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, there's two main concerns. One, there's one elevator for a property, a senior housing property with 125 units, which I think that was kind of brought up, that might be, is that enough to accommodate, especially if there's an emergency? And then I was gonna bring up the person spoke saying that there was two like-type facilities within Joliet, I think it was, that were closing down shortly or recently did. So just where is the demand really there?
So I want to build off, I agree, one elevator on 125 units, it feels insufficient. Especially from a public safety standard. You know, it's not uncommon that some of these places have elevator problems. I'd rather not see one elevator go down and need two. My other concern for you is, I'm a little concerned about the location. I think one building looks a little out of place with, this is just my opinion on it. It's a B3 zoning, so I'm a little conflicted on this one, to be honest. I like the product, I like the idea. It's the location I have a little concern with. Putting one building there and then trying to put a couple potential fast service food, quick service outlets out in front. To me, it almost looks like the building went up and the project was incomplete, and that's why we altered the design or something. So again, I do believe there's a need. Maybe a market study perhaps should be clarified on that, though. The concept I don't have a problem with. One other question I guess I'd have for you is this a wood frame building, or would this be steel stud type frame?
It is wood frame. It's fully sprinkled.
Fully sprinkled.
Fully sprinkled, and that even includes the balconies are sprinkled, sure. Attics, everything's sprinkled.
So you're running dry system, wet systems, all that fun stuff. I have to concur with the other trustee. I really would think you need to have a second elevator in there, just for the sake of public safety and convenience. My question, Natalie, Timbers obviously is a 4-wing facility. That's obviously an assisted living facility. Do you have an idea, or Administrator, I don't know if you may have a reference as to how many units are in there for comparison? They're referencing 125 units in this facility.
I don't. It's definitely more than that.
Correct.
Mark, you don't remember from business licensing, do you? I'll look it up real quick.
Okay. I'm just trying to get we have an assisted living facility in town. It's a 4-wing facility. Obviously it's a little bit bigger, but I'm trying to help put a little bit of perspective in there.
Do you have, excuse me, Mayor,
sure.
Do you have any other units this size that you've built, and are they,
all of our projects are between 119 and 128 units.
And how are you doing with one elevator?
Every single building we have has one elevator. Now, obviously we're very careful to make sure that we, maintain it in accordance with the manufacturer's specs, and as soon as there's even kind of the hint of any, concern starting, we get the folks out to look at that. We have had in the past an elevator go down. It happens very, very infrequently, but it has happened. And what we do is what they call fire watch, where we'll have off-duty police and fire on each floor until it's back up again.
Would you consider putting in a second elevator?
That's not something we would do.
It's not what?
We would not be able to do that.
I also have concern about the elevator situation, not only for during people living there, but also moving stuff in and out. What size elevator is the elevator you're planning on putting in?
It's a standard passenger elevator. We don't have a lot of move-ins and move-outs. I mean, unlike kind of
you're building it, so they have to move in.
Well, right. Everybody will move in over. It usually takes us between about 9 months and a year to fully fill up. And over that period of time, we'll be moving in, call it, 10 to 12 folks a month.
You said you had numerous projects in 8 states. What's your occupancy rate in those units you have in those buildings you have in other states? You 80%, 90%? Where you at?
We are mid 90s. In some markets, we have wait lists for the product. We hit a niche that's not well served in a lot of markets.
Then, is this age targeted or age restricted, or
Age restricted.
it is age restricted?
Age restricted, yes.
This assisted living.
It is not
No,
assisted.
not
We don't,
assisted.
we don't offer any medical services, so we're not assisted, we're not skilled, no memory care.
Something you said that I was concerned, and I'm not sure if it's correct. You mentioned firefighters and policemen and retirees are most of your residents. And you call it low income. Most of those people retire with pretty good retirements, in my mind, where they wouldn't need to be in the low.
Right, no, we're specifically not low income.
Well, your rent rates are 1,900 to 2,100. What's the average, an average place like yours, what is the average cost? I know I've had some seniors in my family that in a 2-bedroom place are paying like $5,000 to $8,000 a month.
Yes.
It seems like this is substantially lower, and I don't want to think that we're getting a lower type facility here than what we already have in the other places we have here. They seem to be, you know, pretty decent places, and I'm sure, I don't know what they pay here, but I'm sure it's a lot more than 1,900.
Yeah, I can't comment to that, I don't know.
But in any case, that's a concern I had, and the last concern I have, it sounds like it's just an apartment complex. And I'm really not in favor of adding an apartment complex at this time in that area. And that's just my take on it.
I agree on that. You know, I think the Hamptons, I'm not sure if and when that'll develop, but at that time, I think the board was under the consensus that we weren't gonna do any apartments until we see how that played out. And they were also marketing some of the seniors as well. So right now, I just don't see the need for this.
I'll make, just listening in, I have some of the similar concerns. The elevator is top of the list right now. I'll say this on a positive side with facilities, not totally like what you're proposing, that are closing in the general area, Joliet area, Shorewood area, what have you. There's probably gonna be a good demand. You probably have good occupancy for this niche fit. But I do have concerns for the location as well. But first off, the safety aspect. And I know you can probably speak to some examples of when an event happened at one of the properties, how it was handled, that kind of stuff, but maybe at some point we could hear about that, maybe not tonight, but another time. But I'd encourage you to consider some of the things the board, fellow trustees are bringing up.
Where is your closest similar type facility,
Let me see, we've got one that we're getting ready to start construction on in Crystal Lake. And then this would be our second one in Chicago, in the Chicago region.
Is Crystal Lake just a single building as well?
Yes.
How did you pick Shorewood?
You know, we look extensively at a demographic profile, including the amount of seniors, the competition, you know, that's available, as well as income and housing values in the area, and, you know, felt that this was a community that would, you know, would be well served by one of our communities.
The only thing I was gonna add, like, you know, we've got the Hamptons project, which I think was marketing somewhat to the same demographic, like, and their rent structure was about the same, so, and they're luxury apartments, so I brought that up at planning and zoning, where I know this is geared for 55 plus, but we're already gonna have luxury apartments right here in town center, so having two in the market, like Trustee Carroll, I'd rather see where our Hamptons goes. Like, I know there's all this demand for apartments, but there's also a big project that was approved just north of us, right at Caden Farm, or no, it's Theodore and 59, and we're gonna add a bunch of apartments. I'd hate to approve a bunch of apartments and then be flooded with them and the market change. Hopefully the project that has been approved will get started soon so we can see how they go. And like you, I'm torn on the location. I'd like to keep that business, but this is a nice mixed use, I guess, where you get something, because it's not on 59, right? That's where everyone wants to be, is on 59. It's close to 59.
Yeah, the location ultimately is one of my biggest concerns. It's our last B3 zoning within that proximity of 59. Like I said, the elevator is the only other biggest concern that I would express a concern for. I'm not opposed to the project. I'm a little torn on the location of the project. I can understand the aspect of the walkability, being able to walk out. If there was a couple of quick service food vendors that were going with it, maybe you could sell it as a complete project or a complete package. I could see some folks, I guess it just depends on how active they are, as to whether or not somebody's walking out, maybe walking across the light right there to get over to the Aldi or the Dollar Tree. I don't know that they're probably not building anything unless somebody's still active enough to want to bounce over to Home Depot. They got some garage units. So, that's good to know. So there could be still some hobby stuff going out of there. But, I'm honestly conflicted on the location. So, but I'm not 100% against it. I'm not 100% sold on it. I really am just conflicted on the location of this one. So, but I think the underlying concerns, I think most of the board members would rather see another elevator. Seems to be the biggest holdup right now, as regards to also some sort of market study, at least to solidify that you guys know that you're in the good and you're not going to have some sort of a default or lackluster performance, in building and not being able to succeed.
I think the location as well is equally as concerned.
But I know, like right now, I know your initial comments were concern on the elevator. All I can ask is, based on some of the comments from the feedback of the board, try to maybe reevaluate, see if that's something you can do. We can have Natalie follow up with you in that regard, and see where some of the other dialogue may evolve in that context right now. Unless anybody else has any questions for the gentleman. Thank you then.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, business item number 10 would be a consideration for approval of an ordinance to establish the Grand Prairie Water Commission, approve an intergovernmental agreement and a water supply agreement, appoint representatives to the commission, and authorize approval of the bylaws and the program management agreement and other related matters. This item is up for a first read. We are asking that we do not take any action on this. We did a workshop on this agenda item. So again, we'd rather at least give all of our board members the opportunity, again, if they have any additional questions, seek those out. So therefore, we're getting all that together. Unless anybody has any questions right now on that topic. Administrator, you have something?
So Shanahan votes on this Monday, so their packet will go out Thursday. So presumably, I will have the actual final documents end of the week. I will send them out electronically so that you have the red line documents. If anybody wants it in paper, let me know, and I'll get it to you. Otherwise, I'll send out electronic documents, and then those documents will be included next week when we send the packet out for the 25th.
Everybody okay with that for now?
So, as the other communities, they've all seen it at least once?
Everyone has seen it. They're doing a mix of special workshops, committees of the whole, what have you. We were just at one tonight.
We just came from Manuka prior to our meeting, and they had a special committee of the whole reviewing it as well. So.
Okay.
Correct. So like next week, Shanahan is Monday. Manuka's on the 25th with us. Romeoville is on the 26th. I think somebody is the day before us, and then one is the middle of next week. I'm not exactly sure when everyone is offhand. I sent you the list, and the list I don't think is substantially changed at all. Okay. If anything, people have added an additional meeting, not changed what was there.
So otherwise, everything is still on track with all the communities. So, all right, if there's no questions on business item 10, let's move into our department reports. And with that, building, Mr. Dudash.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report.
No problem. And community development, Ms. Engel.
Thank you. We have canceled our plan commission meeting for, July third, because July third is a very busy day for a lot of people with the fourth the next day. We are trying to reschedule it for the following week, so I'll send out an email letting you know of the date, and we'll also post it on shorewoodil.gov.
Very good, thank you. Finance,
No report, thank you.
thank you. And we'll move into parks.
Thank you. Just a reminder that our Party in the Park and artisan markets have kicked off, so be sure to join us on Thursdays in Town Center Park starting at 6:30. Saturday, June 22nd is our annual Children's Fishing Derby. Pre-registration is not required, but it is requested. You can do that on our website. Our Boat Regatta Bash is coming up on Saturday, July 13th. It's never too early to start thinking about building your boat. Rules and registration are also available on our website. And then we are working to reschedule our Barbecue and Brews event. It will be sometime in October. We should be announcing that final date soon here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boat Regatta, July 13th. All right. Police.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to report that at our Coppin and Rooftop fundraiser 3 weeks ago, thanks to the generous residents of the village, we raised $8,900 for Special Olympics. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Chief, is that 8,900 even right there? Is that where you're at?
8,933.
I'll catch you after the meeting. We'll make it an even 9.
Thank you very much.
Move on to Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. Just gonna give a couple updates on our capital projects. Our Valencia Linwood Water Main Replacement Project is almost completed. All the residents are being served from the new main. Over the next couple weeks, we'll be focusing on the restoration such as the driveways, the landscaping, roadway, sidewalk and such. Now with school being dismissed for the summer, our MFT will get started shortly. We're anticipating PT Farrell will be in the next couple weeks. Remember, this is the resurfacing of the west half of the Walnut Trail subdivision. That also includes Capista and Gregory Court in our business district and River Road south of Mound, which will be coordinating with IDOT with the River Road bridge over I-80 replacement. Earl and Geneva, we're just awaiting all the contract execution and the insurance. We anticipate work to begin toward the end of June. So that's a big reconstruction and water main replacement on those 2 streets. River Oaks Park, our crews have started, our public works has started this week with some preliminary work, and we anticipate the contractor to get started by the end of the week, if not by the following week, with the playground installations. River's Edge Park Phase A, again, also waiting just contract execution. Our pre-construction meeting is scheduled next week, and we're also anticipating work to begin at the end of June for this project as well. Any questions?
And for everybody that may not have seen, Route 59 over the DuPage River has been, the travel direction has been swapped over to the resurfaced bridge. So they're making progress on that. Hopefully they can get that choke point resolved sooner than later. But they did switch, they did have a lane configuration down there, so they're moving along. Administrator.
The rental registry discussion, the gentleman from Unireg is not available in July, so it'll presumably at this point be the second meeting of August when we pick that back up. So we'll be in touch.
All right, trustee comments, trustee Amos.
Thank you, Mayor. No comments today.
Trustee Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. Natalie gave you the idea of the next meeting, and this is the third concept plan that came before the board. I know everybody can't get the planning and zoning, but I think it's a great idea. I don't think we've had concept plans before the board before, have we? I don't ever remember, but I think it's a great idea, and so let's continue to do that if we can. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Carroll.
No comment.
Trustee Chapman's not here. Trustee Luciano.
Citizens Advisory Committee is on break for the summer. We'll resume in September, the 4th Thursday. And again, as always, if anyone's interested in getting involved, you can contact myself or the other members with the information through the village website. That's all I have.
Thank you. And trustee Selfridge.
No comment, thank you.
No problem, thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to go into executive session to discuss land acquisition, sale, or lease of real estate owned by the village. There will be no action taken after the meeting. We will adjourn from executive session.
So moved.
Motion, trustee Amos.
Second.
Second, trustee Carroll. Roll call, please, for exec.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.